been a few days since I checked in, and I just wanted to give an update of where I'm at with life, with my addiction. So I'll start off by explaining why I haven't posted in a few days. And I really just went off the rails with my kratom intake. And, felt like I was starting to gain momentum and getting clean. And right away I went back to taking four kratom shots a day for, I think it was like 3 days in a row, maybe 4. And it had gotten to the point where I don't even get the same high that I did when I first started. When you first start kratom, it's like, and this is not a sales pitch, by the way, I'm telling you, heed my warning, heed my advice, do not make the same mistakes I did. But when you first start taking kratom, it's like complete bliss. And, the feeling for me was like, oh my God, my problems are so small. Everything is going to work itself out. Everything's going to be cool. I have so much potential to be whatever I want to be, as long as I want it bad enough. And it will have you completely deluding yourself into thinking that everything's good, when in fact the things around you are not good, and the things happening inside you are not good. And it's really just giving you a way to distract yourself. So I fell into that trap. That was how I got hooked. It was part of why I got hooked. And I started this channel as a means of keeping myself, accountable, which I'm doing right now. And then just, 3 or 4 days ago when I stopped posting, it was like nothing in particular, nothing as far as I can tell really set it off. I think I got comfortable thinking that I was making progress, and then, yeah. So anyways, I got very lucky. I started doing some research online for how I can wean myself off of kratom. And from what I read, it looked like Suboxones would help. And Suboxones, for people who don't know, is a drug that people take to help wean themselves off heroin and other opiates. And so I thought it could work for kratom, and it turns out, from what I read, it sounds like it can. So I actually reached out to a buddy of mine who I'm very close with. I've known for a long time, and I knew that in the past he had dabbled with Suboxone for recreational use and to help wean himself off of different stuff he was taking, different pills and stuff. And he was very understanding and kind, and he had actually, I had no idea. This is what's so crazy about addiction, man, is how easy it is to hide, because he had told me that he was going through the same struggle with this. And our experiences, had matched up. And, I told him how I was waking up at 4 a.m. every day, in sweats, fucking craving this stuff. And he was like, yep, been there. And he was so kind to give me the last of his Suboxone stash, which is about 3 days worth. All right. That is, my plan is to be taking one tab in the morning and one at night. And so I got it from him late last night, and yesterday was tough because I actually went to go meet up with some friends to play music, And at one point, playing music was such a joy to me. And here I am hanging out with great people, playing music, and I feel myself getting dope sick. I'm sweating. It had been like 6 hours since, my last dose of kratom. And so I'm there, I'm trying to, my mind is just scattered. I'm not being present with anyone. I'm sweating. My body feels so weak, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I'm sorry. And they didn't know what was going on. I gave them some other reason. But that was a big wake-up call for me. It was like, wow, I can't even enjoy the simple pleasures of life anymore because of this addiction. And I had to, leave there and go get more drugs. And not even to feel high, just to feel normal and calm. It's no joke, man. They need to. Anyone who protests to make all drugs legal, man, because I never would have gotten my hands on these drugs. I never would have tried these drugs if they weren't so easily accessible to me. And I know I'm not the only example of this. So after I got home, I took some kratom, and out of just desperation, while I was still thinking clearly enough, I reached out to my buddy, not knowing if he'd have anything, and he again was just so kind. He came and dropped it off to me, and I took 1 tab of Suboxone before I went to sleep, just to experiment, just to see how it would make me feel. And I slept like a baby through the night. And for the first time this morning, for the first time in 2 months, I woke up feeling great, not craving kratom at all, but just feeling like I had gotten some great sleep and rest. And for the first time, I feel normal. And it really is just opens your perspective up to the negative effects these drugs have on your life. Fall is my favorite season here in New York. The foliage, the leaves, it's beautiful. The crisp air, the climate, temperature, everything. It's my favorite. And all fall, this entire season, I would go outside and, the colors weren't vibrant like they used to be. I couldn't take in the air like I used to. It's maybe weird to describe. If you suffered from opiate addiction, you may know what I mean, but just, it was like all of the color of life was taken out if I was sober, And I took another tab of Suboxone this morning, and I went outside for a walk, and for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Ironically, I know I'm smoking. Which is also very bad, and I do not plan on keeping this up. once I'm fully weaned off from the kratom. And I have stopped smoking cigarettes for long periods. The point I'm trying to make is I have enough supply for another 2 days, two and a half days. And so I'm going to be taking that, and I'm hoping by the time it's all used up that I still feel the way I do right now, which is clear-headed and not sick and not craving anything. And hopefully I'll be good. If not, I'll I'll figure out what I got to do then. But I'm staying hydrated, and I'm trying to eat healthy today, not get any processed garbage. But eating fruit and protein, fluids and all that. But I just wanted to check in with you guys and give an update of where I'm at, and also keep myself accountable, like I said I was going to. So I think that's pretty suffice for a check-in, and I'll keep you guys posted over the next couple days how things are going, and hopefully I can just put this behind me. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.